In an inclusive economy, people of color invest, they employ, they innovate, and they are decision makers. What we want to do is not just address the symptoms of inequality, is to say what's at the root that's causing the inequality and how do we get closer to solving that. Doing this work of an inclusive economy really requires an ecosystem of solutions.
Entrepreneurship is not just a vehicle for individual wealth, but it's a vehicle for community wealth. Our entire purpose is to change the narrative around the potential of entrepreneurs of color.
What we want to be able to do is meet organizations where they are, see their potential, invest in that. We need our folks to break through. We need our folks to grow into that $1 million in revenue and well beyond.
Historically, a lot of social justice organizations have shied away from engaging with finance. And I'm glad to see now a lot more willingness to say, finance is where a lot of power is. We want to go there and take it back.
We're working with private investment communities. We're working, even on the other side, talking with federal agencies, all these different stakeholders to say, here's what we're thinking of and here's what we think it might take for you to consider our communities in a different way. We need to be more visible and really shift that balance of power back to Indigenous people.
We're on a trajectory in which the majority of the country will be people of color by 2040. I really need to work with communities of color, really ensuring that we have an equity-based and justice-oriented economy, because all of us will be impacted.
So EPI wants to rewrite the story, the conventional wisdom about economic development. I think a lot of people have an impression that the real way to attract jobs is to cut wages, deregulate, cut taxes, and that's going to be what creates jobs. And EPI sees it very differently, that what we really need to do is to make sure that we are empowering workers and communities and creating good jobs, and that good jobs actually are what makes a strong community, because then you can invest in schools and in infrastructure and in other things that will have a durable impact on communities.
The impetus is really on local leaders to recognize that community already has power. They already have insight. Policy Link is working to change the way that we think and practice about economic development, starting with the people who are closest to the problems.
The biggest ingredient in increasing community voice in government processes is the will. And it is really both the will of the community-based organizations, the civic organizations, labor unions, and insisting on it. And it is also in ensuring that we have partners inside government, both in the elected roles, but also in the administrative roles, where people can move forward from a stance of like, what can we do together to advance our common goals?
It seems like there are new ideas brewing. People are really willing to try something innovative, and there is more of a sense of the power that we can collectively hold.
The whole economy benefits when our communities are stronger.
An inclusive economy is one that allows people to recognize and realize their dreams, even if I don't believe you, but to really give you the respect you deserve, first and foremost as part of humanity. But second, as someone who has a desire to make a meaningful contribution to society, you should be supported in doing that.
There's so much groundwork that we need to do to address the disparities that we see in our economy. And the only way we're going to be able to do it is if we actually do it together.